Hello and welcome to Little Birdie's Sports Show for a Monday First Look. I'm your host, Nikki Sylvester. Joining me today in studio is MG for AFL Round 13 review, and we've also got Toprope on the line for NRL Round 14 review and Origin. First Look is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, Punting Form and Manscaped for the very best in men's grooming. MG, how are you, mate?
Not sure why you're throwing the Toprope for the Origin wrapper. I think you were the reporter live on the scene there, weren't you?
Yeah, but did you see the tips he gave? Like, he literally tipped everything.
Yeah, lights out. He's been chomping at the bit to get on. He can't believe it's been a bit of a long weekend that he's had to wait from Friday to Monday to see you, Nikki, but I'm sure he'll wrap himself up in a few minutes. How was the Origin? All good?
It was amazing. It was fantastic to get to Sydney, sold out crowd. There was just over 80,000, 80,512 or something. And of that would have been 10,000 Queensland supporters. And the fact that those New South Wales supporters didn't get that team over the line, they should be absolutely hung for that. If that was in Queensland, if that was at Suncorp and that role was reversed, that crowd would have carried Queensland home. But I think I did think it was a good win by Queensland. I'm not saying that they didn't play well, but in that last minute, I think had New South Wales have scored, where in that last 30 seconds, that would have gone to Golden Point, and I think New South Wales would have won. So I think that was the momentum going, and I was very nervous. But then I was like, yay, Queensland won. So the NRL gets what they want, and it'll be a series decider up at Suncorp.
No one was cheering that last try for New South Wales.
But
all the winning bets were in the slots.
We needed no further points, I know, but the crowd would have gone nuts. But yeah, look, it was just Origin doesn't seem to mean the same thing in New South Wales as it does in Queensland. But you step into Suncorp if you're a Blue supporter and you're going to know about it. You can go as a Queensland supporter in Sydney and they just look at you.
Well, we keep telling that to Toprope. New South Wales aren't exactly sporting anything, so Toprope never agrees with us. But anyway, they got 80,000 there. So
it was insane. Like, literally, it was a great stadium. The TVs that they've got are just phenomenal. Like, you can literally see it from every vantage point. It was great.
Unfortunately, it's a waste because they never really fill it out, other than maybe Origin. So not too many events that they do.
Because they're too busy with crappy GWS games, they're ruining the ground and stopping it becoming a rectangle.
Oh, here he is. He's chimed in with his favourite AFL team. GWS getting the win yesterday. You're up and about for the AFL as well, Toprope. It's good to see.
Oh, I did, but let's not get off track. Let's go back to Origin. It was it was a hell of a game. It was but like you say, like Origin is at its best when Queensland. Origin's all about Queensland. Like, as much as New South Wales is just the bad guy for Queensland to beat up on, and whether they win or lose, as long as Queensland are in the contest, it makes it a hell of a lot more exciting. And that certainly says a lot more than kind of the last year, 50 to 6 in the opener. Yeah, it was a real kind of flat spot after that. But this year, I thought it was not only a great win by Queensland, it was a real kind of future building win as well. Billy Slater as coach, I thought was tremendous. They uncovered a couple of just red hot, like traditional Queensland players, Ruben Cotter and Patrick Carrigan. Like, they just played like the great Queensland legends of yesteryear, of just kind of coming out shooting from the gut and absolutely fighting. And that Selwyn Cobbo is some kind of talent. That was an unbelievable touch that he got there. And having watched my first quarter of AFL for the season last Thursday night when there was no NRL on, I'm quite happy to say that Selwyn Cobbo is the best kick in Australia, or at least better than any kick in Australian rules football based on.
It was amazing. When I was listening to the post-match interviews with Slater and Daly Cherry Evans, if you just hear the way that he was talking about the players, like, he didn't single anyone out. He just really said it was a team effort. And you can tell that was like not only like what Craig Bellamy would have instilled into Slater and all of the support team, but also those Queensland mentors that they would have had when they were playing. That's just come full circle now. And he's now passing that on to those other players. And the way he spoke about them, and even Cherry Evans, like, refused to single anyone out, refused to single any of the 4 debutants that they had, and just said, they all had an amazing game. But it was just moments put together that won that match for them. And then you listen to Fittler and to Tedeschi, and you're like, wow. There would be very little hope if you were a Blue supporter coming out of that. Right. And they could have just taken away from that literally in the last 2 minutes, had they have gone over and gone to Golden Point, they probably would have won. Like, that's what I would have led with. oh my God, we've just got to sit back and, play harder the next game. It was uninspiring. And if you had to listen to that as a Blues player, I mean, I don't know where they go from there, but.
If you look at Freddie's body language from the moment the team was announced, I kind of think I think you're spot on there, Nick. It's been an uninspiring time the whole way through. He seemed to find it hard to justify some of the selections, including, why are you playing Daniel Tupou over Josh Adokar? No Jake Trbojevic. You're playing Tariq Sims. And then I thought an hour before kickoff, when they named the final sides, I thought he has absolutely jumped the shark here. Like those subs, particularly leaving Cameron Murray on the bench, was utterly insane. His body language throughout the game was not there. I think that I thought the signs were well and truly there going into the game. That Queensland were in a really good spot. I thought Billy was, like you said, talking the talk, and that kind of continued on after the game. Prior to the game, though, it was bad signs from New South Wales.
Murray, when he came on, he changed the momentum for that game. Like how he sat on the bench for as long as he did is absolutely mind-boggling. Like Murray, Whiten and Crichton, like they played their heart out for New South Wales. Like they really did. And I just don't understand. Like I also think Tedeschi should not be the captain, but that's for another time. And I'm a Chook supporter, so like that's massive to say, but he is the wrong captain for Origin, Like they need like someone like a Cordner or a Gallen, and I didn't even like Gallen, but even then you need someone who's going to lead the team. They have no one. And I don't know where they go for game 2, but hopefully it includes an Adokar for some speed,
Yeah, and just some football awareness. That was the kind of issue for me. They've just fallen into the trap that New South Wales has fallen into for so many years, and they kind of avoided under the first few years of Freddie. He just picked the team he thought was the best team. Then they go, we need big-bodied wingers. We need this kind of forward. Just like you just need to pick your best players. Like that's what they did with Ruben Cotter. That's what they did with Patrick Carrigan, and New South Wales just didn't. And yeah, they said after the game that they're not going to make wholesale changes. Well, they're wrong. Like, they need to make wholesale changes. Like I thought Whiten was outstanding. I think Latrell comes back. I think, there's been no talk about dropping Jerome Luai. I thought Luai was appalling the other night. I've got no idea he has a mortgage on the spot. They
had him measured they shut him down. Like they literally shut him down. And that was amazing to see from Queensland. Like, because, everyone would have gone, oh, Luai. But no, they shut him down. Like they just had an answer for everything. And literally, and also, I don't think Cleary was on his game either. I think he was about at 90%, which is a shame because he's an amazing player, but he wasn't on song anyway. So anyway, look, it's setting it up for game 2.
It's I agree about Cleary. I thought the forwards got completely smashed off the park, and I thought that Billy kind of put in a pretty good tactical game plan defensively, kind of running that umbrella defence kind of up and in, forcing Cleary back inside the whole time. So he likes to play a bit of space at the back. Didn't have it last week. So good game all around from Queensland. Questions for New South Wales to answer, no doubt.
And hey, can you settle something for us? We just had a little team vote downstairs. If Golden State lose and Curry happens to be the best player, does he still get MVP in a losing team? Just want to know.
Zero chance he gets it.
See?
He will get. He's unquestionably been the best player on the court and deserves it. He is zero chance. LeBron didn't get it a few years ago when they lost to Golden State, and Iguodala got it. Absolutely, there's no chance Curry gets it on a losing team.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up now for our little pre-show.
Who won that bet?
Apparently it's a poll. It's got to go to a poll, but MG says he'll get it, and we all don't think that he will.
Off your head, MG.
Allowed to have a different opinion there, Toprope. It's all right.
That's why we're going to put it to a poll. We've got to find him some mates.
I'll explain it later. All right. Speaking of the NBA finals, we're tied 2-2 at the moment, so we're going in. Unbelievable job by. He's not my man Curry, but anyway, he only dropped a lazy 43 points. Clearly, the difference dragged him back in. So they're 2-2 going back to the Warriors, and they play Game 5 tomorrow our time. So we will monitor that through the week.
All right, fantastic. And what else have we got in the AFL? Some bad boys have been getting around it on the weekend, MG. I mean, I'm just saying, is Melbourne now literally, is this is their season done? Like, how can they come back from this? Like, if they lose today with everything that's been happening off the field, like, surely they're done.
You don't mind. Oh, you can't shoot the flag favourites just on the last fortnight.
But the team are fighting. Like, they're fighting.
That's all right.
They got problems amongst themselves. Like, how are they going to play?
The AFL just did a few NRL impersonations this week with with Toprope's new favourite man, Bailey Smith. Didn't know who he was 2 weeks ago, but now he's all over him. And the Melbourne team.
I assume he was out with one Nikki Sylvester when that photo was taken.
Well, I think he might be closely linked with your man Munster as well. I think so. Who knows? But, not a great week for the AFL. The AFL would like to sweep this week under the carpet, I'm sure, and move on. It hasn't been a good bye week with them, with Smith obviously in trouble for the Bulldogs having the week off. I think the week off, Toprope in AFL circles anyway with these bye weeks, I think they cause more issues with players having downtime and not having the the timelines to keep in check. I think so. Melbourne, it'll be interesting to see how they respond today, Nikki. But they've had a couple of losses and they've got some issues internally. But the class factor, they'll get back on the rails and stuff. I don't think their season's in any way, shape, or form done. But it'll be interesting to see when we talk about Friday how today's game went.
Okay, and if we just have a quick chat about the contested golf that we've got going on at the moment. LIV golf or live golf, however you say it. Like, thoughts on that? Have they sold out? I mean, I don't know.
Love it.
Well, you think they should just take the money and run?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm one as a punter. This is going to be one more golf tournament to bet on, so this is excellent. So absolutely zero complaints about that. At the end of the day, like, the PGA Tour has no inherent right to prevent players from travelling across the world and playing golf where they want to. These aren't contracted athletes like that. You contracted to the NRL, or you contracted to the AFL. Not that the AFL is any competition, but where you can go between kind of rugby league and rugby union. It's not like that. Like, these are subcontractors. Yeah, players like Ian Porter have been travelling the world playing the two major tours forever and a day. Now, is there a bit of distaste around the kind of this money coming from the Saudis? Absolutely no doubt about that. But at the end of the day, you can't begrudge a player. Charles Schwartzel earned $88,000 a hole on Saturday. He hasn't won a tournament, I don't think, since he won the Masters in 2011. It's been a long time between drinks for him anyway. They're going to get bigger. They're going to get bigger names. And I think particularly from an Australian point of view, I think this opens up the opportunity for Australia to get more big-time golf, which has been severely lacking over the last 10 or 15 years. I can see, Liv's going nowhere. Liv have the money to outlast the PGA Tour 100 times over, and they will. And where this, like, no one wants to see, tournaments like Riviera and some of the kind of old-time classic colonial go by the wayside, and they won't. But what this gives an opportunity to is for golf to be taken to the world instead of having ordinary events, the Sanderson Farms or these ordinary events in September and October. You're going to be able to come out to Royal Melbourne and play. I can see that happening. The Australian Open being a $15 million, $20 million event. In 3 or 4 years' time, I can see plenty of that going on. So I think this is a big opportunity to kind of take golf to the world, and I think it's going to cause some heartache in the next little bit, but I think there's a big opportunity there ahead.
So what you're saying is I should just keep chipping up for Joss's golf lessons on a Sunday, because obviously he's going to play in a $25 million Australian Open tournament at some point. Yes, you made will Fishy be a mama jar? I'm going to keep him in.
To be fair, the field was that weak at the bottom end of it last week. I'm surprised he didn't get the call up to play in the London International on Saturday.
Oh my God, that is like the best news ever. Wait till I go home and tell Cranberry. All right, we're gonna get straight into the AFL round 13 review. All right, Richmond beat Port Adelaide 77-65. Carlton beat Essendon 80-54. Fremantle beat Hawthorn 95-82. Brisbane took St Kilda 78-57. GWS beat North Melbourne 102-53, and obviously the big game to come today, Collingwood and Melbourne.
Yeah, not much going on this week. I was speaking to Toprope before we come on the show, and the AFL, which we'll check on in just a second, is all 5 favourites have won so far. We've only got one game to come, and Toprope was saying that all 7 have won in the NRL. So bit of a wipeout for the bookies. Lucky they just keep filling up on the racing on the Saturday, and the rest is insignificant. But the two codes are 12-0 in terms of favourite to outsiders. So this week with a couple of games to come to later today, but only 3 covers out of it, so it didn't all go, I guess, to plan for the punters. But no great surprises. Richmond got the job done in a pretty low contest again. I will say one thing. There was only one over for the week. Unfortunately, it's a one I tipped the under, but anyway.
That just went over, didn't it?
Yeah, it covered it. Yeah. Nah, they got away too big. They were never really in it. But, it's just low-level football again. It hasn't changed for a good probably 2 months now, which Toprope keeps telling me how bad the game's going. The crowds aren't rocking up. They can say whatever they like about the TV. I think it's more in the winter that we've got limited other stuff to do with the TV ratings. I know OB keeps banging on how good the TV ratings are, but we're talking more the state of the game, why the fans aren't rocking up. And it comes down to, I saw someone on a footy show, I think it might have been the Sunday football show yesterday. Tony Jones wants to spot out. He reckons the problem's ticket prices. That is so far from the truth. It's not funny. It's all about the standard of the football.
Yep.
And it's the frustration of the game. Yep. And that's all it comes down to. The fans will pay if it's a good product. Yep. It's as simple as that. 100%. It's never been about prices. No. The food's a different story, but just going to the football, it all comes about the quality of the product. And for mine, the AFL's got a lot to answer for this year, and there's so many low-level games, and the coaches just, doesn't matter what rules they put in place, they just keep shutting down the game and make it more ugly than attractive for me. But besides that, I think, the teams that had to win this week or were favoured to win got the job done. I don't think there was any great surprises. No. And probably the best game is to come later on today, Collingwood-Melbourne. As you said, you've already put a line through Melbourne, so it means you'll be on Collingwood today.
Oh my God, I've got to cheer the Pies, but I will cheer them just to see Melbourne lose. Okay, if we have a quick look at the bookie wrap, as you said, 5 out of 5 faves won, 3 out of 5 covers, 1 of 5 over totals, and 3 of 5 home teams. And for the season, that takes us to 70% of faves, 53% of covers, 53% over totals, and 58% of the home teams. Not really much surprise there. And if we just go to the stings as well, so like you said, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 to come today. That was a little bit rough on the loss, but hopefully will be 2 out of 3.
Yeah, we tipped Carlton up on the day of, so just thought with how the teams were balancing and stuff like that, I thought Carlton were a good bet on the day of. The 2 early tips, unfortunately, Freo Hawthorn got out to a flyer of a start, so we were never really in that contest, and today we've got our chips in at the best of it. I think the total's in the 150s where we thought it would be, so hopefully it can be continue the pattern for the week and be a low standard scoring game for us, and we can get the chocolates for the week.
Okay, Chockies, here we come, and we are going to go to Thursday night's game because it's going to be an absolute beauty. Richmond, Carlton, MCG, 7:20 p.m. The early betting suggests head-to-head, Richmond $1.78, Carlton $2.05, and the line's looking to be about 3.5. No totals yet because it is Monday for Thursday and we've still got a game to come today.
This should be a belter. Really looking forward to this one. The build-up obviously goes to Richmond Carlton for round 1. Yep. So I think the hype will be just as big going into Thursday night, and hopefully they do get a good crowd. The early weather reports seems there's a chance of showers, but hopefully that improves as the week goes on. We can get a solid crowd of north of 80,000, a bit like your Origin crowd from last week. But it's going to be. Listen, quick stats-wise, I just think the betting's just shifted off from probably about pick'em game. Now Richmond are minus 3 around that way early market. There'll be obviously some changes coming on as the week goes on. But, both teams have won 5 out of 6, so they're in really good form. Richmond have actually had 6 straight covers now. So basically around the time Scooty potted Richmond and put a line through them.
Is that when Dustin came back though?
A bit of coinciding.
Jeez, he's good, isn't he?
I think it was more the Scoot Moz that's put Richmond into overdrive. Just remembering that they did play round 1 and Carlton were well backed for round 1. I know they normally are as outsiders, but they got the victory by 25 points. Actually an attractive game, 101 to 76. So I expect some similar scoring between these teams. The history shows the overs are 13 to 4 in the last 17 games. So there's a strong push to the overs in this game. Carlton have been competitive. Richmond had won 11 straight before Carlton won round 1 this year. So Richmond's dominance at -3, I think I am going to lean with the Tigers. Surprise, surprise, going into Thursday's game.
All right. Thanks, MG. Now we're just going to have a quick check of the AFL Premiership market and see if Melbourne's off-field behaviour has changed their price any. So what do you got? Melbourne $3, Brisbane $5.50, Freo $6.50, Geelong $9, Sydney Swans $10, Richmond $13, Carlton $15, St Kilda $18, and the Western Bulldogs $31. Have we got value in Melbourne at $3?
No, well, they continue to drift. I think a lot will, obviously if they go down to Collingwood this week, will be 3 losses in a row, and then I think that all of a sudden the pressure does mount on them.
Yeah.
I think they could, if they lost today, I think they could get out to maybe 350, 375. Not a lot's changed. Brisbane are rock solid. They've been around that probably $5.56 the whole way through. Biggest shorten has probably been Fremantle, and the smoky that's probably come from the clouds has been Richmond into $13. So, you can see there Richmond at 13 and Carlton at 15. So it shows a big game for next Thursday.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Neither of them are my teams. Okay, we're just going to have a quick look at the Brownlow. At the Brownlow medal, Lachie Neale $3, Brayshaw $4.50, Cripps is $4.50s, and Clayton Oliver $5.40. They round up the top 4.
Yeah, not too much change from last week, Nikki. A bit of separation there with the top 4 there. Brayshaw is obviously the one with Freo in form. It's been going well, but it'll be interesting to see if Nat Fyfe gets a couple of games under him.
Yeah.
What he takes away maybe from Brayshaw going forward. So, I'd still be with Neale and Oliver out of those 2.
Okay, Neale and Oliver there for the Brownlow. And we just have a quick look at the Coleman medal. Curnow, $2.55 now. Jeremy Cameron, 3, and Max King, $5.70, and Tom Hawkins, $6.75. Tom Lynch, $7.75. That's really it for the top 5. Everyone else in double figures.
Yeah, not too much report. The top 2 pretty clear at this stage. Obviously, Cameron had the bye for this week, so just evened up there. But, there's plenty to play out there, but they're all the big forwards going head-to-head, so it'd be interesting back end of the season for the Coleman.
Here we go for the back end of this season where the good things begin. All right, thanks, MG. Punters, if you are serious about your AFL punting, you do need AFL stings. You can get that from $22 a week in the Little Birdie TV shop. Serious about AFL, you need AFL stings. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Nick Toprope Tedeschi. Welcome back to First Look, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Nick, how are you, buddy?
I'm tired, Nikki, as you might be able to hear from the background there. I'm certainly feeling the pinch a bit after the weekend. But no, we've got 7 games in the book for the NRL this weekend, so one more to come. The delightful Monday afternoon rugby league. So old rivalry game, the Dogs and the Eagles as well. So not expecting it to be a good game based on the current form, but we'll try and enjoy the game nonetheless.
Okay, and we're just going to have a quick look at the round 14 results. North Queensland beat St George 31-12. South beat the Gold Coast 30-16. The Storm beat the Roosters 26-18. Brisbane beat Canberra 24-18. Manly beat the West Tigers 30-4. Penrith beat the Knights 42-6. Cronulla beat New Zealand 38-16. And obviously we do have the grud match to come today, Bulldogs and Parramatta. And now we're going to quickly have a look at the bookie wrap for week 14. 7 out of 7 faves, that is insane. 7 out of 7 covers, 6 out of 7 over totals, and 2 out of 7 home teams. And for the season, 68% of the faves, 54% of covers, 54% of over totals, and 59% of home teams. Good week for the punters, not so great for the bookies.
Yeah, it was a real handy week for the punters, especially those who mulched up all the favourites. In a real good spot right now. Very little sweat with any of them, really. We haven't really had a lot of great football. Look, unquestionably better than kind of the standard that you would see during, say, a Richmond-Port Adelaide game on a Thursday night, but not been a cracking standard of footy. We've seen some great tries, but the games have just been a fair few blowouts. The only real close game we've seen, or a couple of close games with the Saturday night games. The Storm came from behind at half-time to run down the Roosters, and they got a cover there. I did well with a young debutant, Grant Anderson, on debut, getting a couple of tries there. He was very, very good. The Broncos, courageous victory over the Raiders. They were down 18-16 at half-time, came back to win 24-18, but did so on the back of injuries to Payne Haas, injuries to, Adam Reynolds looked like that guy from the Monty Python sketch with no limbs and no body left. He seemed to be doing a hamstring injury, a rib injury, a foot injury. There was plenty going on for the great man. But, a few questions will be asked about the Raiders right now and their lack of composure in the end. Their props were certainly touching the ball way too much. And look, the big news out of the 3 blowouts on Sunday afternoon was the send-off of West Tigers centre Brent Naden. One of the worst spear tackles I've seen, and I think he'll be looking at a long stint in the sideline. He was knocked pretty cold early in the game. Somehow got back onto the field, passed his HIA, and then did this. I think there's going to be a few questions asked, not only about the severity of the tackle. I haven't seen a genuine spear tackle like that in 20 years, I don't think. Like, sometimes you see people getting dangerous decisions. He drove Jake Trbojevic into the ground there. But the bigger question to be asked is, like, how did he get back on the field? If he has no recollection of it, if he was concussed, the danger is put other people in, not just himself. Yeah, big question to be asked there.
If we have a look at the GGOA results for the week, so 3-1, 2 losses, and we've got one to come today.
Yeah, it was a good start to the weekend. We got the money Friday. The late field goal by Chad Townsend to put them up by 13 certainly didn't hurt. They got a try right at the death there, but it was a bit of a concern there for a while. South never looked in danger against the Titans. The Raiders snuck in, and those who took the late line of 4.5 or 5.5 have done their dash, but the Raiders got there in the end. The West Manly total went up, jumped 44.5, so a lot of no tries early in the game, so very, very upsetting. Lost that one. Newcastle Penrith never really looked like the Penrith were just way too hot there. So for those on the power line, they're on the best of it, minus 13.5 out to minus 17.5. I don't see any way this doesn't start at least 18. So good number there for power backers, and the way Canada have been playing, I'd be surprised if they weren't collecting.
So now if we have a quick look at Thursday night's game, this is going to be a ripper, 10th versus 7th on the ladder. So Thursday night, 7:50 p.m, St George takes on South Sydney. St George, $2.45 head-to-head, South $1.55. The line looks to be about 4.5 at the moment. No totals yet because we are on a Monday. Toprope, this will be a good one.
Yeah, haven't given this game a lot of thought as of yet with the round still going on, but probably an early lean towards the Rabbitohs here. Dragons are looking very, very ordinary at the moment. Yeah, I know there's been some kind of odd team changes, but they were torn apart by the Cowboys last week. The 31-12 final scoreline probably flattered the Dragons in the end. They were getting torn to shreds. So South, look, they got the job done against the Titans. They were far from slick, but they've just got so much class with some of their players that you'd think that'll just be too much for the Dragons. I'll be laying the minus early on, that's for sure.
And do we have a return date yet for Latrell? Do we know when he's going to come back?
He would have been available to play this week, except he has COVID. So he's going through the protocol, so he will likely return State of Origin 2, but if not, he'll return the next South game. I think they play in round 16. He'll play then if he's not named in Origin.
All right, now we're going to have a quick look at the NRL Premiership market. Penrith $2.50, the Storm $3.50, Para $9, North Queensland $12, Cronulla $14, Roosters $15, Broncos $16, Souths $26, and Manly $34.
Yeah, it's definitely a two-horse race. At the moment, I just want to kind of, I'm sick of just banging on about the Storm all the time. I'll be laying Penrith again at the price. But I think worthwhile kind of mentioning the Cowboys here. They started the year at 100 to 1. They're in, I loaded up on them for the wooden spoon. Could not have been more wrong on them on that front there. But what Tom Payton's done up there is really kind of get the team rock hard fit and just playing with like an energy that few other teams in the comp are playing with. And just kind of allows them to blow teams away quickly in patches. So they've got the defence right, which is the number one guide for Premiership. Would it be taking the $12? No, but I think of the teams kind of on the up, they are certainly the one to watch.
Okay, thanks, Toprope. Punters, if you are serious about your NRL, you need GGOA. You can get that from $22 a week in the Little Birdie live TV shop. Serious about NRL, you need GGOA. That's the greatest game of all time.
Charity time, Nikki.
Yes.
Your favourite time of the week. Okay, we'll just put up the results from our week 14. It's a rare week for us. We've gone 3-0, so the crew's quite happy there, as you can tell, Nikki in the background. So we actually got all three results, but there were some close finishes. There was only a goal difference really in the Port game.
Yep.
They got inside the Richmond one there. Carlton just covered. I think it was 26 points the final margin there, so that covered. And as you said, Toprope finally got on the board after a bit of a spell there by half a point. So he's back up and about and got his head in this competition. So 3 out of 3 there for us. This week, our selections will throw to Nikki first. Are we staying with AFL or are we switching back to NRL for week 15 prediction?
I'm going for NRL this week, and against Toprope's better judgment, I'm taking the Broncos plus 17.5.
Against the Storm.
Against the Storm.
All right, you are a brave soldier, seriously. You know Melbourne Storm are too good. All right, so for Sids and Kids, for Nikki, she's going Broncos plus 17.5 at the line. Toprope, you're back in the game for Wayside Chapel. What have you got your early prediction for week 15?
Yeah, I'm going to double down on Sharks again this week. I said double down. I'm not sure why I said double down. We've been back on last week, but I'm going to back the Sharks this week to roll the Titans minus 13.5 at Coffs Harbour.
Okay, minus 13.5 there for Cronulla. And I'm going to stick with the strength at the moment. I think I've tipped him a few times in the last month or so. I'm going to go with the early game here, Richmond against Carlton. Richmond minus 3.5. They've already moved off about 1.5 to 3.5. I think it can only go one way in this game, and the Tigers will get the job done on Thursday night. Nikki.
Thanks, MG. Thanks, MG and Toprope. That is a wrap for today's episode of First Look. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, download our podcast everywhere you get your podcasts from. Follow us on socials, Twitter and Insta. Remember, all your footy betting action is at topsport.com.au. OB will be back with the boys on Friday, and I'll be back on Monday. Have a great week. Bye.